When Amina arrived in Umuwazala village, no one knew where she came from. She was a woman with a golden smile and gentle voice that melted hearts. Her skin glowed like ripe palm fruit, and her laughter was music to the ears of those who heard it. She carried a wooden tray on her head filled with fresh eggs, each as white and smooth as river stones. The villagers quickly took notice. Her eggs were different. They never broke easily, even when handled roughly. Mothers began to say her eggs gave strength to children. Old men said they cured their stomach aches. Even the chief's wife claimed her longtime cough disappeared after eating one of Amina's eggs. Within a month, Amina became the pride of Umuwazala. Her stall was always surrounded by cheerful faces. Everyone loved her, especially the men, who found excuses to visit her every morning, pretending to buy eggs but staying to admire her beauty and charm. Her kindness was unmatched. She gave eggs for free to the poor and always offered smiles even to those who couldn't pay. She joined village women during market days, sang songs, and danced to the talking drums with the grace of a queen. No one had ever seen a trader rise so fast, and soon she began to supply eggs to neighboring villages. The chief invited her to his palace and publicly blessed her business. Life, it seemed, had placed a crown on her head. But behind her golden smile, Amina hid a secret. Some nights, the villagers said they heard faint whispers coming from her hut, like a woman talking to invisible people. Some said she never went to the stream or farm like other women. And though she sold hundreds of eggs daily, no one had ever seen her with a single chicken. Still, no one dared question her. After all, she was their darling, the angel of Umuwazala. By the next market week, Amina's fame had spread beyond the hills. Travelers stopped by Umuwazala just to taste her miracle eggs. Her hut became a landmark, her baskets full of coins, and her beauty even more radiant. She began wearing fine wrappers, golden earrings, and beads that shimmered in sunlight. Women envied her grace, and men competed to help her carry her baskets. Amina's heart, however, belonged to one man, Obis, the young hunter known for his gentle strength and piercing eyes. He was the only one who treated her as a normal woman, not as a goddess. He bought eggs from her not for miracles but because, as he said with a smile, they remind me of you, perfectly fragile. Amina blushed each time he spoke. Slowly, she allowed herself to feel something she had not felt in years of love, but as her affection for Obis deepened, strange things began to happen in the village. Chickens started dying mysteriously. Their feathers turned black overnight, and their eggs shriveled like rotten fruit. The old priestess, Mama Ijeoma, warned that something dark had entered Umuwazala. She said the spirits were restless and demanded a cleansing sacrifice. But no one linked it to Amina. How could the village's angel be the cause of evil? When Mama Ijeoma hinted that the new egg seller might be involved, the villagers grew angry and accused the priestess of jealousy. Amina is our blessing, they said. You are only old and bitter. And just like that, they silenced the only voice of warning among them. One moonless night, Obis decided to surprise Amina. He had carved a wooden comb as a gift and wanted to deliver it before dawn. As he approached her hut quietly, he heard a faint chant from inside. Curious, he moved closer and peeped through the cracks of the bamboo wall. What he saw froze his blood. Amina was sitting on the floor, surrounded by eggs that glowed faintly like living things. She was whispering into them, no, speaking to them. Her voice was soft but eerie, as if conversing with spirits. One of the eggs cracked open, and something dark slithered out, a shadow, shapeless but alive. Amina smiled lovingly at it and said, "Go, my child. Feed and return before dawn." Obi stumbled backward, covering his mouth to avoid screaming. He ran home, his heart pounding. The next morning, he avoided Amina's stall, but she noticed. Her eyes followed him like a hunter tracking prey. That evening, Amina visited Obi's. She smiled warmly and said she missed his laughter. He forced a smile, pretending nothing was wrong. But she could sense fear in his eyes. "You saw something," she whispered suddenly. His body went stiff. Before he could speak, she touched his arm gently and said, "Some secrets are safer unknown, Obis. You love me, don't you?" Her voice was sweet but heavy with hidden power. He nodded, trembling. Then never speak of what you saw. Love is silent when it must be. When she left, the air felt colder. That night, Obi's dreamed of eggs hatching shadows that whispered his name. Days passed, and Amina's beauty seemed to deepen, but her laughter grew softer. Her eggs continued to sell like wildfire, yet some villagers started to feel uneasy. Children said her hut smelled strange in the mornings. The chickens that survived now laid blood-tinted eggs, and the dogs barked endlessly near her compound at night. But whenever she appeared in the market with her perfect eggs and gentle smile, everyone forgot their fears. The chief declared a feast in her honor, saying she had brought prosperity to Umuozala. Amina smiled graciously, but deep inside, guilt was beginning to tug at her heart. Love had made her weep. Obi's silence was heavy, his eyes full of questions he could no longer hide. One early morning, Obis went to consult Mama Ijeoma. He confessed everything he saw that night: the whispering, the glowing eggs, the shadow. The old priestess was not surprised. She said Amina's kind came from a long line of women who made pacts with ancient forest spirits. Their beauty and success came at a price: the life force of unborn creatures. The eggs she sold were no ordinary eggs, they carried stolen life energy. Each time someone ate one, the darkness spread silently through their blood. Obi's heart shattered. He refused to believe that the woman he loved was feeding death to the village. But Mama Ijeoma gave him a small calabash containing white chalk and said, "If you truly love her, save her. When she next speaks to the eggs, draw this chalk on her forehead. Only then will the spirit binding her reveal itself." That night, the hunter made his choice: to save Amina or die trying. It was a cold, silent night when Obis walked toward Amina's hut, his heart racing. The moon hung low, painting the village in silver shadows. Inside, Amina sat before her glowing eggs again, her voice soft and sorrowful. "Forgive me, my children," she whispered. "I will soon be free." Obi stepped closer, his feet barely making a sound. The moment she turned and saw him, her eyes widened, not in anger, but in pain. "I told you not to come," she said softly. But Obis fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "I love you, Amina. Let me help you." She shook her head, her smile trembling. "You cannot help me. My soul was traded long before I came here. Every egg I sell buys me another day of life." Before she could say more, Obis reached forward and pressed the white chalk on her forehead. Amina screamed a long, piercing cry that tore through the night. Her tray of eggs burst open, and dark mist poured out like smoke. The hut shook as invisible forces wailed in fury. The villagers, awakened by the noise, rushed out with torches and gathered outside. When they broke the door open, they saw Amina floating above the ground, her body glowing and cracking like eggshells. "Forgive me," she cried as her eyes turned white. The spirit that possessed her emerged, a massive, winged shadow shaped like a woman. It howled and disappeared into the night sky. Amina collapsed into Obi's arms, trembling. "Now they will know who I am," she whispered faintly. "Tell them I meant no harm." The villagers stood frozen, watching as their beloved egg seller lay weak, her secret finally unveiled. By dawn, the news spread like wildfire: Amina, the egg seller, was no ordinary woman. The villagers gathered around her hut, whispering and pointing, torn between fear and sorrow. Some wept, remembering her kindness, others spat, calling her a witch. But when the chief arrived, Obi stood protectively before her and said, "She saved us from herself. The evil is gone." Mama Ijeoma confirmed it. She told them that the spirit of greed had been cast out, and that Amina was now free, but she would not live past the next sunrise. The villagers, moved by her story, forgave her. Women brought food and water, and men rebuilt her hut as a gesture of peace. For the first time in years, Amina slept without whispers in her dreams. She smiled faintly at Obis and said, "You gave me love, and love freed me. Let that be enough." When the rooster crowed, Amina's breath faded. Obis held her lifeless hand as the morning sun touched her face. Her eggs, once glowing, turned dull and broke into harmless shells. The villagers buried her near the edge of the forest with songs and tears. From that day, no one sold eggs in Umuozala again. But every market day, a single white egg appeared mysteriously on Amina's old stall, untouched and perfect. The people said it was her spirit's way of saying she had found peace at last. As for Obi's, he never married. He built a small shrine where her hut once stood and left a flower there each morning, whispering, "Love may die, but it never truly ends." And so, the story of the egg seller's secret became a tale the villagers told for generations, of love, greed, and the price of hidden miracles.